What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden. You're watching CLUBBMOTO. Today, we got some new parts to install. It's going to be a quick one. We're doing foot pegs and a new gas gauge and cap to replace these ugly sons of bitches. So we're going to unbox the products real quick. I'm going to talk about them a little bit, and then we're going to throw them on the bike. This is going to be part one of the Stunt Dyna build series. I think that's what I'm going to name it. I'll throw a link in the description to that playlist. So we're building the bobber here. This is probably going to be a longer build series. The Stunt Dyna one, I'm going to finish that one up quick because this just has a lot more. It's a project, so it's got a lot more time involved. I'm going to be installing the Flo Motorsports V3 and V2 pegs. The reason I'm switching, the pegs I have on there right now they're rubberized. They're a little bit longer than I'd like them to be. They have decent grip, but they're not great. The guy that owned it before me had those on there. But I'm switching to these because they are going to be a little bit shorter. So when I'm like drifting, which is the plan, when I drift, they won't scrape as much. Also, they have grip. Like these things right out of the package, that's going to hold, especially if you wear boots, that's going to really hold your foot in. This is the V3. I was going to do an unboxing, but the mailman literally destroyed the shit out of this package. But I can unbox this one real quick. So this is how it comes pretty much when they first arrive. The stickers were out of it, so I added them back in here. But this is how it came. They came with 3 free stickers, which is awesome. And they're packaged really well. Like, this box is solid. I mean, the mailman literally destroyed the crap out of it. Shoved it so far in there, completely crushed it, wedged it in there so that we couldn't get it out. We had to cut the box open, so that was a disaster. But this one still looks very nice. This is exactly how it comes. It's a sturdy box. The parts were not damaged at all, so that's good. There's a nice layer of foam, and it holds them in there good. Like, I can't even, yeah. And then there's a layer of foam on the bottom, and it comes with 3 stickers, so I'm about it. I'm really confident that this is going to be much better than what I already have on the bike. So those are the Flo Motorsports pegs. Next up, we're doing the Harley flush mount cap and gauge for the fuel. That's something oh, and Connor, here you go. Straighten it out for you. Always in the comments with that, bro. They're coming off because I didn't like it from the very beginning. I didn't put them in. It was the guy before me. I mean, even the levers, which are eventually going to go, are better than that. But these are really clean. I've seen them online. It's a Harley Davidson product. I really wanted to get gloss black because that would have just killed it. But for some reason, they don't make gloss black for my year. It's like 04 and 05. They just only have chrome. Like 06 and up, there's a black option, and it is the exact same product pretty much. Like I gotta ask somebody at the dealership why chrome it is for now, which won't look bad anyway. So now I'm gonna open this up. So this is what comes with the product. This right here is the actual gas cap. Once it's installed, you push on the top of it, it pops up, and then you unscrew it, and then screw it back in, pop it down. This is the outer ring for it. It adheres on, and there's a certain direction that it's curved for the curvature of the tank. So once you figure that out, it's an easy install. This guy right here is the gauge. It does come with instructions on how to do it. I'm going to do the pegs first because that's an easier installation. I'm excited to see what your black suspension looks like. Oh, it's going to look fucking sick. I'm pretty sure it's going to look sick. Oh, did you see that? That was probably on camera. Yo, I'm a bro. That was some G shit right there. Home Depot bucket is taking the lead in my favorite buckets. We got Lowe's. We got Home Depot. Where the fuck is the Harbor Freight bucket? Oh, rip. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That's accurate, but not really. Not really. I love Harbor Freight. Can't shit on Harbor Freight ever, especially being a student mechanic. All right, so the bolt here, at least on mine, is a 9/16. So I got my 3/8 ratchet, 9/16 socket. You're going to need another wrench. I'm just using a little boat wrench. Easy swap. You just pop it right on there. Nut comes off. You really always want to put the socket on the nut side, especially when you're tightening it. You want to torque the nut, not the bolt. So if you torque the bolt, you're more likely to strip it. This one is like oddly like almost threaded on the bottom. I don't know if the guy before me changed the pegs and didn't use the right size bolt. I'd have to check the manual, but it works. Okay. When you pull off these are like Kuryakin brand, so they come from Japan. I don't know if they're metric or standard or whatever. So there's a little tiny spacer in here. I can tell you for a fact that when you put the Flo Motorsports peg in here, it will fit. It feels a little bit loose. There's a little play, but when you put the bolt down, tighten it, and everything, that play goes away. And same process. There's probably a torque spec on this. You can see it's still loose right now. I think I want it just a tad bit tighter. There we go. So I got the V3s on the front. The difference between the V3s and the V2s is really just size. So that's why I'm getting the V2s for the passenger pegs. They're just going to be a little bit more out of the way. The V3s they're 5 millimeters longer and 10 millimeters wider than the V2s. So now I'm just going to do the other side. You guys saw the installation. The installation for the V2s is going to be exactly the same. All right, so we got one side completed. I was wondering if the V3s were going to be too big. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't think they are going to be. I think it's going to be the perfect amount of width there. And I like the slimness of the V2s for the passenger pegs. So far I'm really digging these pegs. I haven't tested them out yet on a first ride, but I'll definitely keep you guys updated after I ride it for a while. You know how I'm liking them. Drink break. Sponsored by TC Bros. Not actually sponsored by them. Product placement. They sent me this for free when I ordered the drag bars for that.
They did not. What are you
I didn't buy it. Oh, it was a gift. The koozie was a gift. Disregard what I'm saying. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. TC Bros is dope. I also got new clutch and brake levers. I got a 1-finger clutch lever, and then a billet brake lever to match. And I got them from TC Bros. Look at that. One fucking bolt holds the passenger peg on.
That's terrifying. I'm right on that.
I shouldn't have shown you that. But that's Harley for you.
What the? That's it? You can't do anything about it?
Not really. One of their...
Seriously?
Well, I'm going to tighten it. But other than that, no.
If cat falls up, what? I'm just going to wrap my leg around you?
I don't know. I would probably hear something pinging down the road and it'd be my nice V2 passenger peg. As you can see, we have wiggle in the passenger peg mount. So we're going to use a long hex socket, 5/16 to tighten that thing up.
Oh, that's way better.
Yeah, there it is. So much better, so much better.
Yeah,
Now that.
I'm safe now.
She's safe. All right, so we got the pegs installed. They look phenomenal. I'm happy with that. Now we're going to do the gauge and cap. We'll start with the gauge. That's the harder part, so we'll do that first. Okay, fair warning. It does come with instructions. The instructions do tell you the order of the wires in the housing. But for removal of the old gauge and cap and everything like that, it does call for a service manual. Now, when you buy the bike, it comes with an owner's manual. This is not a service manual. If you're going to be doing any work on your bike, you definitely want to get a service manual for whatever bikes you work on. I have a service manual for the Honda right here. Haynes makes service manuals. The one for the Harley is right here. Climber. You want to pick up a service manual for whatever bike that you're working on. Okay, so I have the housing all mocked up a little bit, so I'll go into detail on how to do that. So you're going to come down to your housing right here for the wires for the tank gauge. The female side of it, that's basically how you want to wire this, is make sure that the colors match up in the male side of the housing that you're going to be inserting, the same way they are in the female side of the housing. So you could follow what's on the instructions that they give you in the package, but sometimes you run into the situation like my bike, whoever did the last tank gauge put the wires in the housing differently on the female side. So if I did it the way that the instructions told us to, it wouldn't work. So you just want to follow, whatever you do, make sure that you follow what's already on your bike as far as the order of the wires. So you just put the pins in the male side, clip it into the female housing. Then you can turn the bike on. I already did this, but we do a test run to see if the lights are working. Because if it's not, then you got something wrong in your housing there. And how it sets up right here. So you want to pop this top out. You do that by clicking on the top of it, and it pops out just similar to the one on this side. Now you have the housing. So we have this thin bar right here on the chrome part, and there's a thick bar on the opposite side to match it. Now those correspond to, I don't know if you can see it, these little bumps on the inside of the tank. There's bumps that create a thin spot, and there's bumps on this side, I'll try to show you, that create a thick spot. And that's how your housing lines up. Then you're going to push it down. And what they don't tell you in the instructions is when you get it all aligned and you push it down, it is not going to sit flush immediately. So that's something I had to learn through trial and error with this thing. Because there's this O-ring right underneath the lip of it. Where am I filming? Yeah, there's an O-ring right under there. And so that O-ring is supposed to seal to the tank. So what you're going to do is get it all lined up, push it down. It's not going to sit flush. You unscrew the screws. You pull the screws into this inset portion. And it should rotate the bottom of the housing so that these bumps here, the black ones, are underneath those tabs inside the tank. So then when they're underneath the tabs inside the tank, then you screw it down, and then it will suck the top portion and the O-ring flush. So that's a mock-up of what should happen. I've tried this a few times. My personal one has been giving me trouble. So I'm going to go ahead and try it again. I re-oiled it. If I can't get it now, I may have to fabricate my own version of this little black portion. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a try, and we'll see what happens. So far, I'm having the same problem as before, which is it rotates partially, and then I can't get it to rotate anymore. So you want to push down behind. I'm pushing down behind these set screws here, and trying to rotate it, and I'm bending the screwdrivers right now, and they're not going. So this is just an unfortunate design flaw. So I'm not going to mess with it any more than that. As you guys can see, the lights work. There they are. So it shows a little gas tank symbol, and then there's 3 dots on this side because I have a half tank, but there'd be more. I think there's like 6 or 7. The only thing I couldn't get it to do was suck flush like it's supposed to right here. So I'm going to have to figure out a solution to that, but for right now, I'm just going to leave it. So we're going to go ahead and do the other side. The other side's really easy. This is just your cover ring. It's adhesive. You push it down and rotate it, and then it screws in just like your other cap. So really, you take the other cap off, put this one in here, screw it in. I saw a comment somewhere that this doesn't click to let you know that it's secure. It does click. You just have to be confident you're not going to break it or anything. So then you push down, twist it, and it's down. The only tricky part is how to adhere the cover on, because the cover has a curvature. And usually this pull tab is in the front or near the front. So you fit it onto your tank, and then you rotate it. See, it wouldn't go that way because there'd be a massive gap there. You just rotate it until you feel like it's sitting where it's supposed to. I think it's about here. And then we're going to go ahead and use some tape to mark it. So I'm going to get that set up. Okay, so for the cap portion, you're going to need some isopropyl alcohol just to clean off the surface so the adhesive sticks to it well. And then you're going to need some painter's tape and a pen. And that's how we're going to make sure we line it up perfectly, or near close to perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. It's right about, as you rotate it, one end will come up and the other end will come up and you'll get a high spot. I'm thinking the lowest portion is probably right about there. So now when you found it, take a look from the top, make sure it's all good. My tab is not perfectly pointed straight, so you know that's not a true way to do it. If you just throw it on there with the tab pointing forward, you might not get it perfect. So what we're gonna do is take a little bit of painter's tape, come down here with the ring, cross it over on top of the cap, and then I'm gonna leave a little folded edge over so I can easily peel it off when it's all done, said and done. And we have the ring, we've got the cap. I like where it is, just making sure I still have good fitment. I'm gonna come take my pen, and we're gonna draw a line on the tape between the actual cap itself and the ring, the accessory ring, or whatever you want to call it. I'll just show you guys how it's going to be set up like that. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is, oh, this thing is dirty from landscaping, holy crap. But the next thing you're going to do is very, very carefully cut that tape along the edge of the cap itself. So I'm not going to push barely at all. I'm just going to go over it a few times. So now I've got it cut so that the cap is free. The marking is so that you can realign it after you take the adhesive off. So I'm going to pull the ring off here. So now I've got my shop towel. Get a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. We're going to clean the surface because we're getting ready to attach the adhesive. Give it a good wipe down. I want the adhesive to stick well. I really don't want there to be any dirt and grime underneath it that might scratch the paint throughout the years. There's no oils from my fingers on here. There's no dirt on there. I got it all off with the isopropyl alcohol. Line the marking up with the tape. I'm just going to push down, hold it there, make sure it goes good all the way around, gets a good solid connection. So as you can see, it really is flush, and it really flows with the shape of the tank. It looks super clean. So that's it, guys, for the install. The cap portion, easy, super easy, honestly. The gauge gave me a little trouble. I'm going to take it to the shop, see if they can't, you know, if they have a mechanic that could come out and be like, oh yeah, this happens all the time, here's the trick, and they just do it real quick. It's just, you know, those screws are getting halfway and they're just not making it underneath the little bumps on the tank. So maybe I have to shave off top of that plastic portion of those little tabs to give it some more clearance. Or maybe I have to fabricate my own if they can't fix it at the shop. But if they got a dude that can come out here and he works on Harleys all the time, does these flush mount gauges all the time, you know, experience is important when it comes to these things, really. So if he has a trick that can help me with it, boom, we'll do that. Real simple, real easy. If he doesn't, I think I'm just going to fabricate my own portion because I can cut a little piece of tube that'll go in there and just rotate it and then have little tabs that are threaded for those bolts. So then I'll just get the bottom portion in place, put the top portion in, and screw it in, and it should work. Unless I fuck it up, and we'll see. But that'll be later down the road. For right now, it's good enough. I don't anticipate it causing a problem. It does still have a washer or an O-ring on it, so we're not going to get water in there or anything. Where I didn't show, you want to tuck the wires up under the tank off the head of the engine after you get it all set up. But we got the pegs on. They look phenomenal. We got the gauges on. It looks way cleaner than those ugly skulls. The last portion of the video is something I want to do, or start doing. I'm going to take some of the stickers and everything that I put on my bike. I'm going to put on the fairing over there. That way, if I ever decide to put the fairing back on, all the companies that I use on my bike, you know, for aftermarket parts will be right there displayed. So I'm going to put one of these stickers on the fairing, and the other ones will go on my toolboxes. I can put it there. Kind of fuck with that. I mean, it's a good size for right there, so let's do that. Right in front, Flo Motorsports. Oh, that's just too clean if you ask me. All right, there it is. Flo Motorsports officially added to the project. Stunt Dyna. I mean, I don't have any sponsors or anything, so these are just me showing support to the companies that I think make good products and that I'm going to throw in the Stunt Dyna. Put this guy back on the wall here. Got to get some new mounting hardware before I can put it on the bike anyway. Well, it was on the bike, but it was kind of zip tied, you know. If you're a biker and you don't use zip ties, what are you doing? All right, that's going to end it for part 1 of the Stunt Dyna build series. I'm really excited about this build series. It's going to be pretty epic. It's going to be able to create a lot of good things for the channel. So I'm going to give a little spoiler real quick about episode 2 of the Stunt Dyna build series. We're going to get rid of the stock suspension. This is a big one. If you're going to want to make your bike more athletic or just make the ride smoother, or if you're going to be trying to do stunts, suspension is key. So like that's one portion that you don't want to cheap out on. I'm not going to tell you guys the company I went with just yet. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen it already. But I'm super excited to install this. It's gonna be pretty epic. It's really gonna change the whole look of the bike, the whole feel of the bike in the rear end and stuff, and really allow me to be able to do some of these stunts like drifting and wheeling. So we're gonna install that. Super excited about that. That'll be in the next episode of the Stunt Dyna build series. But for now, guys, take care. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell. I've got the Stunt Dyna build series. I've got the Honda Magna Bobber build series. We're going to be doing moto vlogs again. Spring is coming. I'm planning on really popping off with the channel and the episodes in spring, summertime. So stay tuned if you like what you saw. If you want to keep up with the build series, definitely stay tuned. I've got almost all the parts I need to turn this thing into a full-blown stunt bike. I'll be able to crank out episodes on this thing real quick. So like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. I'll see you guys in the next one.